Cool, awesome. Well, welcome to another WHOA member spotlight interview. I'm Jordan Kaminsky. I'm the membership director here at the Wisconsin Hotel and Lodging Association. Thrilled to be joined by Eric Grimm, the GM of the Grand Geneva Resort and Spa, and Jess. I'm blanking on your last name, Jess.
Yeah, sorry, I'm showing up as Grand Geneva here. I am the Grand Geneva. No, it's
Yes, you are.
Gitcho, which is kind of hard to say, but my married name now is Wales, which is a lot easier to say. So we'll
We'll
go with
go with
Jessica
Wales.
Wales.
Jess
Yeah.
Wales, marketing manager for the Grand Geneva, as well as some other properties within the Marcus portfolio. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down virtually with me, kind of surrounding this really cool kind of training, onboarding, employee engagement survey video you guys kind of crafted and put out there, highlighting a lot of members of your team, but doing it in a really kind of fun, silly sort of way, in the same vein as the TV show The Office and those kind of mockumentary interviews. So as someone who's seen The Office probably a dozen times all the way through, I absolutely loved it. I'm curious, Jess, you were kind of one to kind of storyboard it, put the pieces together. Where did the kind of idea come from for wanting to put something together systems based, but then kind of folding in the more kind of lighthearted office style kind of approach that you ended up going with?
Yeah, definitely. So the corporate office tasked each property with coming up with a video intended to inspire associates to take the engagement survey. So it's really a way for the property to learn about what's working, what isn't working within our workforce, and apply, the advice and changes that our associates have. Like as Skip says in the video, turns out the people that are doing the work actually have really good ideas on how to do it better. And then the idea to do it in a mockumentary style kind of also came from the prompt from our corporate office. So they said, make it fun. It should reflect the personality of your property, and it should feel authentic and easy to capture. And right away, thinking about the personalities that we have over here at the Grand and Timber between Eric and Jeff and Skip, it's a lot of natural banter, kind of like a brotherly camaraderie that the three of them have. And I just felt like we had to take a humorous approach. And, being an associate myself, I think sometimes we get bogged down with tasks, more surveys to take, more trainings to take, more meetings to go to. It can just feel like a lot. And I think we kind of understand that. And the office does a great job of making fun of that kind of thing. But also making a lot of important points about why the engagement survey is important, and really highlighting the unique personalities that we have in charge over here.
I love that. We all have a sense of humor, right? We all take what we do very seriously, but we don't always want to take ourselves too seriously, right? And we want that to be reflected in the work we do and the content that we put out. One of the great lines from the end of the video is, turning your feedback into real change. Every member of the team has a buy-in and a voice at those properties. Eric, when you think about onboarding a new employee or putting a plan together for their growth, what are those first impressions you want them to walk away with, and how intentional are you early on about shaping that experience?
Yeah, I think over the last year, we've actually put a huge focus on this. We've linked up with a consulting firm, and one of the first things we wanted them to assist us with is that first initial experience that our associates have. So we really looked at the onboarding process along with their orientation. So we had a group of managers that got together with this consultant, and they were tasked over the whole year to come with how would we improve it. And we looked at, is it too long? Is it too short? How do we bring some of our on-property ambassadors into that as well to really finish off that great. So we took a deep dive at that, and we've modified and played with it all year. And I think sometimes where the video became really important was reminding us why we started that process and how we ended, and also remind the associates what we heard from them last year and what we did with that information they did give us.
Yeah. One of the parts I loved in the video too was you touched on it, was kind of the employee and ambassador program, right? So, newer employees can be kind of linked up with someone to show them the ropes. Obviously, huge benefits to a newer employee. But have you seen the growth and a lot of excitement and buy-in from those maybe more seasoned employees who have a voice and they're able to connect and help kind of like get the next generation, the next wave of employees up to speed with your kind of property and culture?
I think specifically about our People Pleaser of the Year, which is like our Employee of the Year, and I think about our Heart of the House winner this year, and he's been with this property for almost 25 years. But I'll tell you, in the last 12 months, we've seen him like blossom and come out of his shell, and he's involved in our PEP committee, which is our peer engagement group. And then he's an ambassador, and he shows up every Wednesday when we do the photo on the front lawn, and he tells his story to the new employees. And Brandon's been here for 25 years, but he's like a whole new individual, I think, in the last 12 months, and really has taken on a whole new role. And it's amazing to see those stories as well. It's just not the new employees, it's the associates that have been here and really are the heart of this property.
Yeah, we all need different reasons to re-motivate, re-inspire us, from the kind of, continuity of what we do on a daily basis. I love that. And, Jess, watching the video, obviously you laugh, you're along for the ride. But there's never any doubt by the end of it that you're taking away the core messaging, where we're looking at the surveys, we're taking your growth through your journey with our properties very seriously. So I think it was done in a tremendous way. But for you, how do you balance taking something that's very entertaining, has a comedic twist to it, but making sure the core and the theming of that messaging comes through clearly?
Yeah, it was a bit difficult to balance, the humor between the messages that we needed to send. And I think the guys did a great job with that dry, semi-sarcastic delivery, even though the information was true and important and relevant. I think Eric, Jeff, and Skip all did a great job of sort of sitting back in their chair and giving their best, Jim impression or Michael impression. And so although the delivery had that sense of humor to it, the content really hit home. And then, I think another unique part about the edit was there were a lot of funny moments that didn't really relate to the video. Like, Eric, do you know how to say the word consistency?
No, I couldn't get it out of my mouth to save my life.
Yeah, so we had some fun bloopers that, as I was watching it back and editing, I'm like, this is the personality of our property, and that's really what they tasked us with, was they wanted us to show our personality. So I made an intention of putting a brief blooper roll at the end. So you got all this important information with this kind of humorous, dry delivery, but then at the end you get this really like personable blooper roll that kind of shows the funny, quirky side of our leadership. And I think that is relatable and approachable to our associates. And I feel like, personally, that resonates well with me. I want to feel like I can go to my leaders, approach them, have a conversation with them that's maybe not about work. And I think that blooper roll at the end kind of was like the cherry on top of, this is a lot of important info, but we're all still human here.
It's showing that humanity side of it. I think it's not anecdotal to say that a very large thing that people from looking for a part-time job all the way up through your career look for is, how do I feel I could connect to this place? How do I feel like I could connect to the people? All other things aside, like that's what we look for. And that's the reason we want to accept positions. That's the reason we want to stay in those positions, grow in those positions. So taking a very purposeful approach at that, I imagine, retention wise and growth wise, you want to see people who start new and are, tagging along with those ambassadors grow into leadership positions as they progress. Just I'm curious, do you guys have plans to do this, with more areas, with more systems to highlight, maybe not always in the same, vein or same tone, but just to really showcase, here's the way we do things that might just be a little bit out of left field from the status quo?
Yeah, season 2 comes out next year. No, I mean, yeah, we don't have any set plans, but I do think that, I think Marcus has a taste now for what the kind of stuff we can produce internally, and I won't be surprised if they'll be asking for season 2 this time next year. So, yeah.
I love that. Go
I
ahead.
think Jess has done a great job though throughout, the last year, 18 months as well. She does a lot of employee spotlights, and we've seen some of those personalities that might be guest facing information, but also some internal videos that are just used internally. I mean, we had a training video that was, I don't think Jess was involved, but it was of how a new hire approach should be. And it followed some of our managers around, and they're playing hourly associates, and it made everyone laugh. And
Oh yeah, I filmed that one, Eric.
you did film that one. Okay. So we will blame you for that one as well.
Yeah, that was
But
me.
it made everyone, once again, get the information in a different way. And I think that's important. I think it's great to have that human element. We also put ourselves out there every year for People Pleaser of the Year and try to have that connection and bring the senior leadership down, to an approachable level, which usually makes us sing and dance, which it's fun to do.
Literally.
Literally sing and dance. And we all somewhat look forward to and somewhat probably dread it, but we do it. And the feedback's always amazing. I mean,
yeah, if you pay attention to our social media, we do a Who Am I series, which we launched a pretty robust calendar of it this year. So every month we're spotlighting a different department and the associates within that department. So in April, we did the spa, and we spotlighted 7 unique associates and sort of told their story, how long they've been with the Grand, what they love about it here, and inviting guests to come and see them and book a service with them. And so in May, we're going to be featuring the golf team and so on and so forth. So I think, I'm seeing more and more that people, our viewers, internal and external, want to see real stories, real people. They want to feel a personal connection to a business. And yeah, we're just seeing lots of engagement on that type of organic content.
No, recognition, I think, it has such a value to it, right? Like to, Eric, from your perspective, to be able to highlight and showcase the amazing team you have. And it doesn't have to be something kind of as transactional as like, hey, good job, here's a gift card. It's like, no, like I want our guests to know you and then to spotlight, and then they can see like, hey, I remember interacting with Brandon or whoever it is. It really gives you kind of a longer connection with guests and staff, before they're at the property and well after their property, that lingers with that brand awareness. And from my perspective at the WHLA, so many, if not every single property in our membership is doing something cool and out of left field and out of the box and creative. And from each of you, if another property was thinking about doing something similar to, codifying systems or doing it in a way that, highlights it in a video or uses comedy or whatever it is, but felt like it might be too much, just from the results you've seen, the retention, the feedback, what would you tell them and what would your advice be?
I'll tell you this, where this idea actually came from is I was at a meeting with some of our individuals from corporate, and someone showed us a video of what someone did in the manufacturing role to try to get higher response rates. And we were all watching this, and they finished, and they were just telling us this. And I leaned back, and then I actually raised my hand. I said, why can't we do this? Why can't we take this approach? And I actually wrote the note that we were going to do it here at the Grand no matter what. But then when I raised my hand and said that, our corporate vice president of human resources was like, absolutely, we should all do this. So I think sometimes the best ideas are the ones that we steal and we modify and and Jess took it to the next level with her comedy and her the ability to take our personalities and ingrain them in there. We always wanted to have a little bit of fun in it, so that it really related with our staff. But I think you know, we're fortunate that we have someone as talented as Jess and our marketing team here to help support us when we do this. But realistically, it could have been just any of us following each other around with cell phones and approaching it. I think you just got to be willing to try and see what sticks. I think our unemployment, our open job rate has plummeted in the last couple of years. We have single-digit turnover on our management team and a 50% reduction in our turnover on hourlies, and I think it has to do with being relatable and approachable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to add to that, I think like creativity is a big motivator. I think people are more creative than sometimes their day jobs give them the freedom or credit to be. Like anytime I see Eric get up on stage and do a dance for People Pleaser of the Year, I'm like, wow, that guy can dance. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I can't. Absolutely not.
I believe
No,
it.
but when this like task came across my desk, I was like, well, I have to make it fun. You know, it's something that I have to do, but I was given essentially free creative reign over it. So, and it was really motivating. I found myself editing it on the weekends and including the blooper roll and doing the intro reel. And it was like one of the longer pieces I've edited this year in terms of time spent editing. And even though it was just an internal piece, I was just so motivated by the fact that I got to do it myself. So I think, you know, people might be surprised. They might not think their team would be interested in doing something like that or would be able to have fun with it. But I mean, we had a ton of fun doing it. We were laughing the entire time we were filming it. As I was editing it, I was laughing on my couch, sending it to my family and being like, this is so fun that I'm getting to do this at work. So yeah, I think people are motivated by the ability to be creative. And if it's a video or however they choose to do that, you might be surprised by what your people can put out.
Yeah, the sovereignty for anyone on any team to bring ideas, to infuse fun, to infuse their own creativity and whatever their thing might be. I think, you know, there must be a real pride in seeing, you know, team members really engage with it and be along for the long haul. And you know, Eric, you pointed out that, you know, those open rates speak for themselves, right? That you've got a team who wants to work hard, wants to buy in because they feel like they have a voice, and you guys are lending that to them in a way that, again, takes what you do very seriously, doesn't take itself too seriously, and it turns that feedback into real change, like you guys said. Eric, Jess, I really appreciate you guys hopping on and connecting. I'm going to stop the recording right now. This is always the longest part.